Hello, my name is Damita Chatman, and I'm with Citizens for Excellence in Elected Leaders. Today, we have a special announcement. People's been asking, what is a special announcement? So today, I'm going to let you guys know. As everybody knows, that District 35 Senate seat is vacant right now. And the senator that was in that seat was Jason Estevez. He decided after some months when the governor race came to put his name in the race for governor. So therefore, District 35 is we don't have nobody to represent us. So we did some thinking, we heard from the community. And so today I have my guest that's going to come and represent District 35 until the election. And will my guest please come up now? And it's no other than the former Representative Roger Bruce. You can have a seat, Roger. Let me say this. I know some people is going to say, well, why Roger Bruce? Well, why Roger Bruce? Because Roger Bruce has the experience. He has experience is working with everyone. He lives in our district, and he will be able to represent us until the next election, which William Bodie, former Representative William Bodie, will be running for District 35 seat. If you guys know, let me give you a little background of that. Senator Donzella James was our senator for District 35 for years. What they did, they drew the lines and drew her out. I thought I understood it then. Now I really understand it. In my view, it should have been left alone. Then we wouldn't be in this predicament that we're in. But that's okay. We have someone that fought for the city of South Fulton. The people know him in South Fulton. People know him all over. So this is the person that I reached out a while back, me and a couple more people, and asked him would he come out of retirement. He said he had to talk to his family about it. He'll get back with us. So I am excited to have the former Representative Roger Bruce, better known as the godfather of the city of South Fulton. Roger Bruce, turn your mic on, Roger.
Thank you. So, there you go. Thank you so much for inviting me to be part of your program today. And you're right. There's people that might say, well, why is he coming out of retirement? You know, why did he decide to do this? And it took a lot of conversation with family, with friends, and to see whether or not this was the right thing to do. And it didn't take long for me to realize that from the time that the governor decides to set the date for the special election and the date of the election, there's not very much time for you and others to vet the candidates that are going to seek this position long term. So that was one of the things. If that's the case, because the election is not until next year, if I was not to do this, then there's no telling who you'd end up with. But whoever it is, if they're not already in the state house, they're not going to know where the bathroom is. They're not going to know anything about, you know, how that place works. So you would still have a freshman legislator that didn't know how it worked. And with all of the things that's coming up, we're going to have issues with them trying to take our voting rights away. You know, we want to expand Medicaid, Medicare, make sure that all of the citizens have an opportunity. That starts at the federal level, but it trickles down to the state. Voting rights is going to be a huge issue when we get back down there in January. They're trying to take away your right to vote.
Right.
And so I decided that if I did not at least try to do this, that I would be complicit in the problem. And I didn't want that. I wanted to be useful and helpful to avoid these problems and to fight the proper way to make sure that our rights are not deprived.
So let me ask you this. I'm gonna call you ambassador. Ambassador Bruce. Let me ask you this. Could Governor Kemp appoint somebody for this seat?
State law does not have a place for the governor to appoint.
Okay. So this is totally.
And you probably don't want him to appoint.
Absolutely. That's why I asked the question. So this is basic. This is not like when Congressman John Lewis died.
No.
They just, okay, got you.
Totally different.
Got you. So let me ask you this. Why is this so important to not only the city of South Fulton, but Georgia as a whole?
Well, it's not, this district goes beyond just the city of South Fulton. It goes all the way up into Cobb County as well. And it's a very large district, about 130-something thousand people in this district. And so it's a big district. And the district is the size of our city.
Oh, wow.
So that shows you how big it is.
Wow.
And it's important that there's someone there in January, as I said, because of all of the things that are taking place around voting. They're trying to take away your right to organize if you are, union, and unions serve a purpose. And they're trying to take away your ability to organize that way. And there's state money. There's over almost, it's a lot of money, billions of dollars that are being divided up. And I want to make sure that this area, this district, gets its fair share of that money.
Let me ask you a question. Why is it so important right now to get somebody that can work across the aisle and have relationships going into this position?
It's very important. During my tenure as a state rep, I was able to get 81 bills signed by the governor. And those were 4 different governors. Only one of them was a Democratic governor, the rest were Republican. So you have to have the ability to work across the aisle. You have to know how to negotiate. You have to know the process. And to get 81 bills signed into law by governors of both parties, that was not an easy task.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, let me ask you, because I know when we fought for cityhood, we had to have the Republicans to cross over.
Correct.
And I know that you had relationships with the Republicans. Do you still have a good standing relation with the Republicans and the governor?
I do. I can pick up my phone right now, send a text message to the governor, and he'll probably respond to me in about 5 minutes.
Okay. So I'm going to ask this because people probably saying, oh, let me ask you this. Mm-hmm. This announcement today, do you think Governor Kemp would be pleased about you coming back to represent that seat?
I can't speak for him.
Okay.
But he and I, we served together before he was governor. He signed bills into law that I have gotten through the process through the House and the Senate, and to his desk, he signed it. As I said, I can pick up the phone right now and send him a message and he'll respond. Now, that doesn't mean we agree on everything, but that also means that we're not disagreeable.
Right.
I can pick up the phone, I can call him, I can talk to him, and most of the time, depending on what it is, if it's a purely, if it's some kind of legislation or something I'm asking for that's purely Democratic, he's probably not going to go along with that because that would be in conflict with what he is. Wow. But if it's something that's good for the state, and that's what we have to do, we have to get people to understand that what the state government does. And the state government, you have to have relationships with the other side. You're not going to get anything done. And you have people that will call and say, you need to tell the governor to go, but how do you do that and then go ask them to sign your building law? Right. You have to have relationships. That does not mean you have to agree with everything. It just means that when you disagree, you're not disagreeable. Right. Now, let me ask you this. When you go back, how long would this be? How long would it be? It would serve one term for 40 days of 2006. And then I would still be in office until the end of the year. And then the new person would take over the following January.
Okay, so that's saying, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to call his name out. If the former Representative William Bodie get in this seat, he'll take over at the end of the year.
He would take over in January 2007.
Okay, let me ask you this, because this is going to come up. So I'm going to ask you, although I've already talked to him, I talked to him this morning. How do the former representatives feel about you coming out doing this right now?
He was one of the people that came and asked me to do it.
Thank you. So I know you also will be back part of the South Fulton delegation team
Correct. And Cobb County.
in Cobb County and Atlanta.
City of Atlanta.
And so you got 3 areas, Cobb, Atlanta, and South Fulton.
Right. And
That-
before I had, I had a piece of Cobb County before,
Okay,
and I had Douglas County, and I had Fulton County.
okay,
So I had 3 before. This would just be 2.
great. So that's why I think it's very important for somebody that has relationships, know what they're doing in that seat.
Yeah, and the committees that I served on, and I don't know what committees that they would appoint me to when I go to the Senate, but one of the committees that I served on dealt with deciding how the state budget was divided up and appropriations. So I mean, I was on that committee for several years. I was on the game fish and parks, so all of the state parks. And as you know, I have that big event out there.
I'm gonna come to one of them, promise you.
Yeah, I have a big event where I fill that lake up with fish, and we have the kids come out, and we give them all fishing poles, and we teach them how to fish.
Okay, I want you to save me a fishing pole,
Okay,
because, I don't,
we get thousands of kids out there.
okay,
And so it was that, and I was on the Judiciary Committee, which is a big committee. And it was, I stayed on that committee. I was the only non-lawyer on that Judiciary Committee for years. And I got bills passed through that. They thought I was a lawyer when I got down there. And that's probably why they put me on the committee. But when they found out I wasn't, I had done so much with that committee already, they just left me there. And so much so that before I left, I was given an honorary law degree
oh, wow,
from John Marshall School of Law. So technically,
you can practice law.
well, I have to pass the bar, but technically, I have a law degree.
Okay, get my son to help you pass that bar. Let me ask you, since he's good friends with your family, let me ask you a question. Going into this Senate seat, and I'm going to put it out there. I just truly believe that you're going to get this seat.
And I hope I do, not just for me, but also for our community. As I said, you don't want someone in there in this interim period that does not know this process, that does not have the relationships, and cannot get things done. I've always said Bruce will produce.
Yes.
And now I'm saying Bruce will produce again. And I want us to all be down there. I've invited the public to come down. I will continue to do that. But we have to have someone that can get things done.
Okay, great. Now, let me ask you this. How important is it for when you get in this to work across the aisle, but also work with the delegation? Because right now, we do have new members. We got new people.
Right.
So how important is that for you to go in there and work together?
The delegation is important, and also the party. The Democratic Party has to unite. We have to all start working together.
Mhm.
We're going to have a governor's race, but also the presidential race coming up. And we don't want someone like current president,
Mhm.
bottom line. And if we don't start working together, and uniting all of these different groups and making sure that we're all on the same page when it's time for these governor's election and for the federal elections, we're gonna have a problem. And we're gonna end up with the same mess that we have now. And I don't want that. I don't think you want that.
I definitely don't want it.
So we have to come up with a way to unite. And that's also part of what I hope to be able to do while I'm in this position, is to unite our party, to make sure that everybody understands the dynamics of working together. And that is the only way we're going to be successful. We got to we got to overturn some Republican seats up in Washington. We need to do the same here in Georgia. And Georgia is going to be critical to the presidential election.
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember when Donald Trump was giving his speech in Pennsylvania. And he said in that speech that he could not have won the election without the help of Musk, knowing the voting machine and knowing computers. Now, what does that mean? Sounds to me like he said they rigged the election. That's exactly what he said.
Now, you're gonna get in trouble for some of that down, but that's,
I'm
tell
not
the
getting in
truth.
trouble.
Tell the
I'm just-
truth.
I'm just-
Just tell the truth.
You know me.
Or tell
long
the truth.
time.
Tell the truth.
That sounds to me, and I'm not saying anything that's not already documented. This is what he said.
Mm-hmm.
So if he was able to rig the election, and as you know, he called out Secretary of State and told him to find him 1,300 votes.
That's what he said.
What does that mean? Was he
He said-
asking him to rig the election?
That's what he said.
That's what he said. So all I'm saying is that people have to speak up, speak out.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to be running for re-election after that. I can say whatever I want to say.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to say, I mean, I would do it anyway, but I'm going to say whatever I want. And if we are not diligent in looking at how this election is set up, there's nothing to stop them from rigging it again.
Absolutely. Let me ask you a question, because people don't understand that this election, Georgia election, is very important. We are the deciding vote who gets in the White House,
Mhm.
and we got to get it right.
Got to get it right.
Do you think that this election coming up next year, I'm talking about Democrats now. Do you think the Democrats need to get in a room and discuss some issues and all come together, united
You know,
as one?
that's the way we did it in the old days. You know, as you know, my history goes back to Maynard Jackson. And there were times when we would go over there to the old Pascal's Hotel and the restaurant, and folks would get around the table and they would talk about all of the people that are offering themselves for office. And then we would bring them in the room and we would talk to all of them and get information about it, find out why they wanted to do it, what they were capable of doing. Looked at their history, looked at not only what they said they want to do, but what have they already done. You know, because that's one of the best indicators of what you're going to do, what you've already done. Is that fair?
Yes.
And then they would decide, okay, this is who we're going with for this is who we're going with for that. And that doesn't stop other people from running, but it just stopped them from getting the support of, you know, the people in that room and all of the resources, the money, the volunteers, all of that went towards the person that was decided upon by a group of people. And that group of people consisted of business people, of community leaders, just people who, you know, just wanted to be part of it. But it was a group of people that understood how important the electoral process was and how important it was to get the right person in the right place at the right time.
Let me ask you a question, because I'm not from Georgia, but I often hear the late Maynard Jackson name, how he had did so much.
He did.
Do you think right now, if he was here right now, would he be disappointed on how some things have taken place?
I'm sure he would have had something to say, but not only him, but think about Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King, Hosea Williams, and all that. What do you think them people would say?
If Martin Luther King came back right now,
Mhm.
I would think that he would say, I thought I took care of this 50 years ago. I think that would be his opening statement. What y'all do? How'd y'all let it go back? And Maynard would be saying, you gotta speak up, speak out. Don't let this happen. And Jose Williams, he was more radical, I guess you could say, than others. He just said, let's go kick some.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that we have too many people that is selling the communities out and not speaking up for what's right?
Well, again, I can't say that they've sold anything out because I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know the
I said that, okay.
and I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
But I can say this: I don't see people speaking up and speaking out in the manner that they should. You've heard me say this before. I equate all of this to like a baseball team.
Mhm.
You got 9 members on the team. Everybody on that team wants to win the game,
Right.
right? But everybody on that team has a base to play.
Mhm.
If I'm the first baseman and the ball gets hit to third base and I run to third base to catch it, I'm in the third baseman's way and my base is not covered.
Hmm.
Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
So what I'm saying is that there's room for everybody that wants to make a difference to be on this team. But you got to pick a base. You got to pick a position that you want to play and then play the heck out of that position. And if you ask me to go down to the Gold Dome and negotiate for your rights and to negotiate for your share of those billions of dollars in state money, if you want me to go down there and negotiate with the governor so that if I get a bill through the process that he's going to sign it, then you can't ask me to go out on the street and call the governor a butthole or whatever.
Right.
You can't do that because that won't work. That's not that base. So you get somebody else on the team that can do that and let them play that base. That's the ones that you have out on the street. That's the ones you have out there talking about what the Republicans are doing is horrible and all sort of stuff. But if you want people in this General Assembly to be able to get bills passed and dollars in your community, you got to let them play that base.
I agree.
I hope that makes sense.
I agree. Let me ask you, okay, let's talk about something because you're down there probably about a year. Have you ever thought about when you were down there, or even when you go back, what we gonna do about the homeless population?
Yeah, I think about it all the time.
The homeless population, and how can we take the nonprofits back from elected officials giving the food out and they showboating during election time with the food? Why not give that to the nonprofits and let the nonprofits in the church handle that? Do you agree that's where it should be?
Well, I think that there's room for all of us to contribute and play a part. And these food giveaways, I think that I probably would do it differently.
Okay.
And I would, I don't know if you realize, I'm the chairman of the board of the Fulton Land Community Action Authority.
Okay.
And I've been the chairman of that board for a while. That used to be EOA back in the day.
Okay.
And now it's the Community Action. And, one of the things that we do is we help people who can't pay their rent. We go out and we raise money. And if you can't pay your rent, then they call us. And we help them pay their rent, so they get back on their feet. If they're hungry, we feed them. So that is the nonprofit that you're talking about that I'm the chairman of the board of. And but we don't have all these fancy, giveaways. People know we send them messages, we keep track of who's having trouble.
Really?
Yeah. And we call them and say, come, we'll help you.
That's interesting. I didn't know you did that. I need you to send me that information.
Okay.
Because that's the kind of information that the community needs, because everybody is not driving the Mercedes and the Bentleys. We got folks driving Pintos and Volkswagens.
And you got people walking.
And you got people walking. And you especially got people that's living under them bridges, not only adults, but kids also.
That's correct.
Let me ask you this. Tell me, what do you think about working with Fulton County, if you can do that, bringing maybe a health center to the city of South Fulton. I didn't say Union City. I know we got Grady going to Union City. I'm saying a health office, urgent care or something to the city of South Fulton.
There are two urgent care facilities that are in this area.
Where at?
One is at the marketplace.
That's East Point.
I understand,
Okay.
but it serves this area.
Yes.
And there's another one on Fulton, off of Fulton, not Fulton Industrial. It'll come to me in a second, but right near, just before you get to the Douglas County line.
Oh, it's Fairburn, right?
Yeah, well, not Fairburn, it's Thornton Road.
Thornton Road, okay.
And, but the point that I'm making is that I would love to see a full-scale hospital in our area. The problem with it, you know, and again, I'm just being candid with you, is that hospitals are expensive. They're very expensive to build and they're very expensive to operate. And and just about every one of them is private. Grady is a privately owned hospital. People don't realize that they have a contract with Fulton County to provide services to indigent people and you know, people that can't afford insurance, et cetera, et cetera. But that is a contract that they have with the county. And we have tried, and we can continue to try to get a hospital in this area. But we also have to get commitments from other places. Grady would not be able to probably survive without the money it gets from the county.
Okay.
In that contract. So we would have to get whoever invests all of that money into a hospital, we have to get them some assurances that whatever the income that they get from patients and the insurance company, that that's not enough, that the local government would do that. City doesn't have the money to do that right now, but that would be something that we have to get the county to agree to. And again, it's easy, you know, and you're going to get people that's running for office. Yeah, I'm going to get you a hospital. They're not going to be able to get you a hospital without making sure, first of all, you also have to have the certificate of need. You got to get through that process.
Right.
And that's been difficult to do as well, because they're saying, well, you got this hospital, you got that hospital. It's not in our city, but it serves our city.
Mm.
And so you got to get past the certificate of need, and then you got to get people who are willing to invest a lot of money, and then you got to get them some assurance that if they don't make enough money from patients and insurance, that the government will back them up. That's the process.
And I'm going to say this. You don't have to say this because I don't want you to get in trouble. Leadership matters.
Absolutely. Leadership matters. You got to have somebody that's focused on trying to do all of those things that I just said. And because it could be done, but you got to stay at it. You got to be diligent. And you remember when we were working on this city, it took us 10 years.
Yes.
People think that it just happened a couple of years ago. It took us 10 years to get to the point where we could even have a vote.
Right.
So you have to have people that are going to, you know, say, stay the course, fight the fight, and not give up because they run into a problem.
Right.
You got to keep on going.
And for you to bring that up, when you first started that fight for the city, the first big meeting I went to was down in College Park.
Yep.
At the convention center.
I was there.
And yeah, I know you were there. That's where I met Senator Donzella James. And the fight wasn't easy.
It was not.
But you had few folks to stay the course.
And we did the right thing.
Did the right thing.
You know, you have people who say, well, we should have went to Atlanta. But, you know, again, I look at Southwest Atlanta and, you know, over there off of Camelton Road, over by Greenbrier, all of that area. I haven't seen anything done in that area in years.
Nothing.
In fact, I remember when I first came to Atlanta, that was a booming area. So logically, if we were to have gone to Atlanta, why would Atlanta skip over that area?
Absolutely.
To do things?
Thank you for saying that.
I don't think that would have happened.
Right.
And on top of that, as you know, that this area, you know, some of the people wanted to go into Atlanta, but Atlanta has its own school system.
Correct.
And the superintendent at the time was very clear. If this area comes into Atlanta, we're gonna close down the schools that are serving us, Westlake,
That's right.
Sandtown, and A. Philip Brand. They were clear. We don't need those schools.
Absolutely,
And if those schools had been shut down, what would happen to your property value? It would go
absolutely,
down the toilet.
absolutely.
So again, people have to look at the whole picture. I was fighting to save your property values. I was fighting to make sure you continue to have schools in your community. You don't want your kids bused to another school somewhere else.
No,
So we wanted to keep this thing in. So you have to look at the whole picture. And I'm convinced, whatever the problems we're having in South Fulton, they're not as bad as they would have been had we known.
absolutely. Let me say this, because we're gonna be wrapping it up, but I'm going to be having you on my radio show, Take a Stand, October 14th.
Okay.
Neighbors, community, you can send in all your questions, and we're gonna make sure that we answer your questions. We just wanted to do the special announcement today to let people know who is going to be running for this seat. Typically, Ambassador, I don't endorse unless I feel real strongly about the candidate. Right now, I'm going to tell you and my viewers that I am openly endorsing Roger Bruce for District 35. So anybody that want to get mad because he's sitting in this seat, address Damita Chatman in the C.E.E.L organization. Because right now we're in some critical times.
Critical times, and it requires critical.
And it requires people that know what they're doing, can work with other people. And I'm confident that when you go back, you will be able to represent us well, not only with South Fulton delegation, Atlanta and Cobb, but you'll be also representing us with the senator and helping Senator James,
Yeah.
Senator Hybrid. I am confident that you would do an excellent job.
Thank you so very much.
And so again, I want to thank you for coming. You want to say something?
I want to give folks my phone number.
Give them your phone number and your email address.
The number to reach me, 678-428-8067. You want to dial that number so people will see that I'm not giving out a fake number. This is the number that I answer.
Okay, I've been calling it all night long, so I'm gonna call it. Let me find it in my phone.
People know that this is a real number, 678-428-8067.
I think that's the number I've been calling.
And I will answer this phone.
That's the number that it's ringing, and it's just on silent.
So it sounded, because you told me to sound.
Yeah, I told you to silent it. First of all, let me say, I usually say this and I totally forgot. So charge it to the mind and not the heart. I want to thank the pastor of this church for opening his doors for me this afternoon to make this special announcement, to get us the ambassador that I'm going to start calling senator. I'm putting it out there. I'm claiming this today, that he's going to be our senator for District 35. Please look out. The voting is going to take place November the 18th. It is a special election.
And let me clarify one thing. I got a call today on the way here, that the county commission chair of both Cobb County and Fulton County, they are going to ask the governor to change that date. And if that happens, we'll let you know. They're trying to have it coincide with the elections that are coming up on the 4th. And if that happens, it'll be soon. So we'll let you know. But right now, it is set for the 18th. But if that changes, we'll let you know.
Again, I want to thank the ambassador for coming out. I'm going to go home and do what I do now. But again, I want to thank the pastor of this church and thank the viewers. Again, this is for Cobb, Atlanta, and the city in South Fulton, not just the city of South Fulton, but South Fulton. So please watch out for Ambassador Bruce and let us get him in until we get former Representative William Bodie back in that seat. And again, elections is very important. I'm going to tell you this election is very important. Leadership matter. What I will tell the voters before I close, don't be bamboozled. Please don't be bamboozled. I'm talking especially to my city. You know what we went through these last 4 years. Don't let us have to go through the next 4 years the same thing. Remember that. We got 4 years after November the 4th. Is that right?
Yes.
Please make sure you get it right. I'm going to be doing something next week probably, and I'll go deeper in what I'm going to say. But voters, we need to get out of our feelings and do what's right. We can't talk about what's happening on the federal level and at the White House when we acting just like them. I said that. Again, I want to thank everybody for listening. This is Damita Chatman, the CEO, President of Citizens for Excellence in Elected Leaders. I want to thank my producer for stepping in because my husband wasn't here to help, so she stepped right in. I want to thank Penny Rogers for all that she do. October the 14th, we will be hearing from Ambassador Bruce. We have him on a whole hour to ask all the questions and tell us a little bit more. Again, I want to thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you.